Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Just Vel here. Just finished off a long 5-day WrestleMania 35 weekend. I'm just gonna get right into it. It was a great time. I had such an amazing time at WrestleMania, Takeover, Hall of Fame, and Raw. Access was special. It was just wonderful. Me and the wife got there Friday afternoon. We hopped on a plane. We ended up landing in Newark. Um, Rushed straight from Newark. We took a lift all the way from Newark Airport to the Marriott Marquis in Times Square. I actually thought that I was going to be late. That's why I was rushing because I had a VIP signing with Sasha Banks and Bailey from 1 to 3. I had general admission from 1 to 5 for the access, but I had bought some VIP tickets to see Sasha Banks and Bailey. I had already met Bailey, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch previously before they were called up from NXT back in 2015, but I hadn't met Sasha Banks yet, so it was really important for me to meet Sasha Banks, and I was able to meet her. I took some pictures with them, and they actually signed my belt. As you can see, Sasha Banks signed there, and Bailey signed somewhere else down here. But that was wonderful. And I tried to show them a picture of Bailey when we took a picture together. And Bailey was, she was playing around, real playful. She didn't want to show Sasha Banks because she looked so young. So it was a nice moment. I was kind of upset that the lady that was doing the whole thing, she was kind of rushing, Sasha and Bailey, so we didn't really get a chance to communicate. And I felt like for $150 for these tickets, for me to only get 10 to 15 seconds with them was some bullshit, to be honest. But it is what it is. I was able to take a picture with them, got that printed off, and it's right downstairs in the center of my living room. So that was pretty sweet. The nostalgic, all the stuff that was going on, from back in the day, it was just a nostalgic moment. Seeing all of the wrestling costumes and um, stuff that they dressed in for different WrestleManias, the boots, Shawn Michaels and his outfits, The Undertaker and his outfits from just different WrestleManias, and seeing different pictures at Access, different sets that they had going on, the statues, Andre the Giant, um, Dusty Rhodes, the new statue that they unveiled for Roddy Piper. It was just great to see all of that and the memorabilia that we bought. I got some cups, some T-shirts for the kids, a few other things. I wanted to get another championship belt that would have made 3, but the wife put a kibosh to that. Maybe maybe another time, but they had some nice stuff at Access. We ended up leaving from Access and going straight to the Barclays Center. As we're waiting, man, it was freezing cold outside, man. I know a bunch of you guys were there, and if you weren't, man, let me tell you, standing in that line, it was ridiculously cold and raining. So we're standing in that line. We ended up getting on the bus. We're soaking wet. I had a poncho on. Me and the wife had ponchos on. So that kind of helped a little bit, but not very much. Like I said, it was freezing cold out there. We waited for probably about 20 minutes before we got on the bus, headed over to the Barclays Center. And let me tell you, man, NXT TakeOver Brooklyn was off the charts. It was, and I'm not just saying this because I was there live, it was probably the best NXT TakeOver that I've ever seen. And I've seen them all. And this by far was the best one that I've seen from top to bottom. The matches were outstanding. My favorite match, I know a lot of people were saying that their favorite match was Adam Cole, Baby, versus Johnny Gargano. They shared a special moment, at the end of that with Tommaso Ciampa. But my favorite match had to have been Velveteen Dream versus Matt Riddle, just for the fact that Velveteen Dream was in that match, just made it that much more epic because this guy is a bona fide superstar. From his entrance to his selling, to his move set, to the things that he says, how he moves in the ring. This guy is just money. And, I'm hoping, sooner rather than later that he gets brought up to the main roster, but is actually used the right way. Let his character develop organically, and he's gonna get over, organically like he should be. WWE has misused a lot of NXT call ups. Asuka, Bailey, Samoa Joe, just to name a few. They've been misused. And I'm hoping that the next NXT call ups, the Ascension, the Revival, American Alpha, they've all been misused. Bobby Roode, they've all been misused when they got brought up. And look at EC3, nothing for him. They're just all jobbers right now. They got Aleister Black and Ricochet in a tag team. I could go on and on. I don't want to take too much time, saying how Vince has screwed up, the NXT call-ups. But, like I'm saying, I hope they don't, ruin Velveteen Dream's call-up when it does happen. But like I said, it was the best match of the night for me. And the crowd was raucous. I mean, it was outstanding. I really enjoyed it. My wife said that was her favorite moment of the entire weekend was NXT TakeOver. So, that was wonderful. He ended up winning, holding on to the North American Championship. Velveteen Dream pose at the end. They actually did a bro moment where they, fist bumped at the end. So that was great. Johnny Gargano ended up beating Adam Cole, even though the Undisputed Era interfered in the match. He was able to withstand all of that and still come out on top. Like I said, he shared a moment with Tommaso Ciampa, who came out at the end. I'm not sure if that actually showed up on, on the network for NXT TakeOver. For those that were watching, I'm not sure if they showed that live, but Tommaso Ciampa did come out at the end, and they had a moment with Candice LeRae, Tommaso Ciampa, and Johnny Gargano, where they hugged. So that that was pretty sweet. Ricochet and Aleister Black were defeated by the War Raiders, and from what it looks like, that must have been their last match on NXT, Ricochet and Aleister Black, because it was kind of like a send-off. The War Raiders, gave them a bow and, let them know, just show their appreciation. And, so did Brooklyn. We showed our appreciation for Aleister Black and Ricochet because we figured that that was going to be their last match on NXT. So, that was great. Then they had the Fatal 4-Way with Shayna Baszler, the champion, Io Shirai, Kairi Sane, and Bianca Belair. Now, I really wanted Bianca Belair to win this match. I feel like it's her time, and I really thought that she was going to take this one. She did a spot where she put both Io Shirai and Kairi Sane on her shoulders, and man, it was crazy. That she is like brute strong, man. She's amazing. So, but Shayna, at the end, Shayna Baszler did end up winning. I was hoping that Shayna Baszler was going to get called up, and so that's why I thought that she was going to lose. But they kept the title on her, and we'll see what happens from here. But Bianca Belair is on the next level. Her character has developed, and I'm really looking forward to, her seeing where she goes from here. I really wish that they would have kept her old music. I like her new music that she has now, but I really wish they would have kept her old music that she had before. I kind of felt like that was more her style, how she comes out and dances and all that. But, either way, she has it, and she knows it. So she definitely is the EST. It's a mindset. It's not about a record. But yeah, I'm waiting to see what happens with her next. But like I said, the whole night was just crazy. It was wonderful, and I had such a good time, and I was definitely not let down. And I don't think I've ever been let down on any NXT takeovers whatsoever. So I knew that this wasn't going to let me down either. It was just an epic night from start to finish. We were pretty tired because we had been up since 2:30 in the morning. Had to catch a flight at 6, and didn't get back to the hotel at the Marriott Marquis until about 12:30 that night. So, and let me tell you this, transportation in New York is ridiculous, and if you don't know how to get around those subways and using the trains and the lifts, and I don't know how the New Yorkers actually do it. I really don't. It was crazy, man, trying to catch trains and figure out what trains to catch and where to go and how to get here. And man, and I'm from Chicago. So, I know all about trains and things like that, but New York, it seemed like a different animal. It was crazy. But yeah, I ended up getting up, going to the next access um, for WrestleMania access from 1 to 5 on Saturday. We didn't show up right at 1 because, we were tired and we had, seen, what we needed to see on the first access. Like I said, I seen Sasha Banks and Bailey. So the second one, we just hopped in a line and ended up getting in the line with Ruby Riott and Drake Maverick and who else was there? Gallagher. They ended up leaving before I was able to get anything signed by them, but I did get a couple of pictures of Ruby Riott, and she's more beautiful in person than she is on TV, that's for sure. Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan actually came out and surprised her, so that was cute. And then as they left out, they swapped with Roderick Strong of Undisputed Era, Ember Moon, and Punishment Martinez. So I was able to get pictures with them, and so that was great. Roderick Strong is a nice guy, man. He really is. He was, we had, some conversation, and we both held up the Undisputed Era pose, and he was talking to me about, I had the wrong shirt on, because I wore my Undisputed hoodie on Friday night, and then I wore a different shirt on Saturday, and he was like, "Oh, you should have wore that, to this time, to this session." And he was just a nice guy. We had conversation. It was pretty cool. Ember Moon was nice as well. I really hadn't seen much of Punishment Martinez, but hopefully in the future he does something. But we'll see. We left there and went to the Hall of Fame, and it was a nicer day. It was about 67 that day, so it was pretty nice. Well, much better than what it was on uh, on Friday night. So the Hall of Fame was great until we had some jackass come out of the crowd, and he was actually in my in my section, and he was, he went into the he went into the crowd, actually attacked, Oh, you can see my daughter coming into my video. He actually attacked her. Go downstairs, honey, for a second. He actually jumped over the barricade and attacked a 61-year-old stroke survivor and cancer survivor. And what type of human being does that? I mean, I just couldn't believe it. They beat the shit out of him, to be honest. I seen Heath Slater jump in there, Travis Brown, the New Day. He, like I said, who else was in there? Just a bunch of guys. Shane McMahon, Drew McIntyre. I seen him in there. Dash Wilder even got a punch in. So like I said, they beat the heck out of this guy, and well deserved. He needed his ass whipped for doing that. That you're not a fan, and for you to even do that to a 61-year-old cancer survivor and stroke victim, you're a piece of shit. And I hope that they get their hands on you again, or somebody sees you out and about and they just punch the shit out of you just because. Moving on, I thought the Hall of Fame, the set was very much different from any set that they had before. I thought it was pretty cool. They had them, the actual Hall of Fame inductees, come down the ramp, and then they had the ring set up with a microphone stand inside the ring this time. And they had like the ropes. They had 3 ropes set up and then 1 rope down so that they can get in. And I love the DX induction where they were thanking Vince McMahon, who doesn't want to be thanked. I thought that was great. All of the inductions were pretty cool. I really enjoyed Booker T and Stevie Ray of Harlem Heat getting in, and what they did for China was pretty awesome too. So I thought that was pretty cool. We ended up leaving, and the next day was WrestleMania day, and when I tell you that I couldn't put it into words how I felt just waking up knowing that I was going to WrestleMania. It was an awesome moment, even going to WrestleMania. We got there. I didn't even want to look in to the stadium until I was able to actually walk in and like just take it all in. And as soon as we walked in, I took it all in, and it was just an amazing feeling, just finally fulfilling a dream come true. And, that was great. Our seats were awesome. I actually ended up taking a picture with Noel Foley, who was nice enough to do that. So that was pretty cool. I walked around on the floors, by the floor seats, and, took some pictures and things like that. The actual WrestleMania, when it started, they had the pre-matches, and they had the women's battle royal that Carmella ended up winning. I actually thought that Mandy Rose was going to win, but Carmella ended up taking that. They had the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I picked Braun Strowman. I figured he was going to win that, which he did. He ended up throwing out Colin Jost and Michael Che at the end. And then they had Tony Nese versus Buddy Murphy. And I thought that Buddy Murphy was going to retain, but he ended up losing to Tony Nese, which was a cool moment from him. He's a New Yorker, so that was pretty cool. When the show started, they had Alexa Bliss come out as the WrestleMania host. And man, let me tell you, she is beautiful. Man, she's so pretty. She introduced Hulk Hogan, so that was a great moment for me because he's, the reason why I fell in love with wrestling. And for him to come out and be at my first WrestleMania, that was awesome. During that, they did a pose off, which was pretty cool, and he flubbed the MetLife name, calling it the MetLife Center. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but he should keep that going just because. But then Paul Heyman came out and, interrupted. He walked down to the aisle. He looked pissed off and, saying something about, well, if my client's not going to go on last, then we're going to go on first and get the hell out of here because we got business to take care of, ultimate business to take care of, in Vegas. So out comes Brock Lesnar and, Seth Rollins comes out, and before the match even starts, Brock Lesnar just beating the holy hell out of him, throwing him from pillar to post, whipping him over tables and, the announce tables and all that. And, Seth Rollins' back is just, welted up and bruised, and he just looks beaten up, beaten. They finally start the match, and the ref rings the bell, and Brock's about, he starts him with suplex city, suplex after suplex, it's suplex city, bitch, and he's about to hit him with an F5, I believe, and Seth gets down, pushes him into the ref, which startles the ref, and Seth hits him with a low blow, and then all of a sudden we get 3 curb stomps, and it's over. And I'm just like, what the hell? It wasn't something that I was too fond of, simply because I've seen Brock take a lot of punishment from different wrestlers, such as Roman Reigns, such as Goldberg, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles. I've seen him take a bunch of punishment and kick out of finishers, and now he's not kicking out of any of them. It didn't sit well with me. I'm glad that Seth Rollins is the new champ, but I just didn't like the finish to that match. I wish that there would have been some more psychology to it, but it didn't happen. So I'm not going to go through every single match, but the matches that really stood out to me were the Shane McMahon and Miz match, and I felt like that spot where the Miz suplex Shane McMahon off of that barricade or whatever it was, that was pretty cool. Triple H and Batista, they had a nice match. My favorite spot of that match is when Triple H used the pliers and, took out Batista's nose ring. I thought that was pretty epic. That's going to be a moment. What really ticked me off is, and don't get me wrong, I'm happy for the Iconics. It was a nice WrestleMania moment for them, but Sasha and Bayley just won those titles a month and a half ago, and they only had one defense. And now they're losing already. That just didn't make sense to me. They fought for those titles for a long time, trying to get those titles, and you only give them to them for a month and a half. I just didn't understand that. Speaking of Sasha, there was something that's going on. If you guys don't know, she had to cancel an appearance on the Wendy Williams show at the last minute. I believe it was after WrestleMania. And I also know that her and Alexa Bliss don't like each other at all. And Sasha Banks posted something on Twitter saying, "You scared?" ? And probably about 2 hours later, Alexa Bliss commented back saying, "No, not scared, just tired of your petty shit," with a shit emoji, and then hashtag blocked. So these two don't like each other. I really don't know what's going on. I'm going to be following it closely. If I find out something, I'll let you guys know. If you find out something, let me know in the comments below if you know what's going on, because I don't know what's going on just yet. But trust me, I will find out. Sasha Banks is my favorite wrestler, not just male or female, my favorite wrestler right now. And so I'm pretty intrigued, and I'm a little worried that something big is brewing, and I'm hoping that it doesn't steer her away from the WWE. So more to come on that. Obviously, Kofi Kingston winning the championship, that was great. Not only, but because he was the first African American WWE champion to ever be a champion for WWE, that made it special to me. There's been other African American champions. Booker T has been the world heavyweight champion. The Rock's been the WWE champion, but he kind of identifies more as Samoan. But Booker T was the world heavyweight champion, never the WWE champion. So this is the first time that an African American person has been WWE champion. Well, so that's huge. So that was pretty special in my eyes. But him celebrating with his kids, in the ring was pretty cool, and that was a nice moment. And then you had the Baron Corbin and Kurt Angle match. It was just that we could have did without that. Everybody wanted someone else to come out and interrupt that match and maybe have a really good retirement match for Kurt Angle, but it didn't happen. Baron Corbin ended up winning, which was, we didn't need to see it. We really didn't. It was pointless, in my opinion. What really, a bright moment for me was Elias doing his thing in the ring. And then John Cena comes out, and he's a doctor of thugonomics. And I just fanned out on that, because I was really a big fan of him when he was doing the doctor of thugonomics back in the day, with the hat and the jersey and, the chain with the lock on it, and he's rapping. I mean, that was huge for me, for him to come out and do that. I really enjoyed that moment. And then, Becky and Charlotte, and Ronda Rousey, they had their match. And by the end of the night, I know, in my opinion, the crowd was kind of flat at this point, because it was such a long night. At least 8 hours. The show didn't really get over until about a little after 1:00. Becky ended up winning. I don't know if it was a botch roll up or not. I do know that was the planned finish. That they were thinking about doing a finish where Ronda was going to tap out, but they changed at the last minute to her doing a roll up off of Ronda's Piper's Pit move. But Ronda's shoulders were clearly up, and the referee still counted 3. So I don't know if that was a botch or if that was planned, or I guess we'll find out soon. But Becky ended up getting the championship, and now she's calling herself Becky Two Belts. Kudos to her for winning, and let's see where she goes from here. I'm interested to see what happens next. I know that Charlotte's actually on vacation in Mexico with Andrade Cien Almas. So she won't be, she'll probably be back next week for the Superstar Shakeup. And Ronda Rousey has a broken hand, so who knows where she's going to be. She actually broke her hand in that match, so don't really know what's going to happen with those two. But on to the next one for Becky Lynch. As you saw on Raw and SmackDown, if you tuned in, she actually got into it with Lacey Evans, the Southern Belle. She finally decided to get her gloves dirty for once. And, she actually threw some hands. So we'll see what happens with that. That's probably going to be her next feud. But yeah, WrestleMania was, it was a great moment for me in my life. I'm never going to forget it. The entrances, let me tell you about that. Those entrances were pretty cool. I really enjoyed Triple H's entrance. I really enjoyed the entrance for Charlotte Flair, where she flew in on a helicopter. I enjoyed Joan Jett doing Bad Reputation for Ronda Rousey. I enjoyed Seth Rollins' entrance. They were just, Finn Balor's entrance was pretty cool. So it was, the entrances were pretty cool. I really enjoyed those. The Usos match, I'm glad that they retained at WrestleMania. Them walking in and walking out, that was pretty special for me because I, got tired of seeing them lose their titles. Um, and they went up against three other tag teams: Aleister Black and Ricochet. I believe the Bar was in that, and then Rusev and Shinsuke. So they ended up retaining. But the Usos are my favorite tag team, so it was nice to see them hold on to their titles. But after WrestleMania, trying to get the hell out of MetLife Stadium and back to Times Square was just brutal. And let me tell you why. If you didn't experience this, I mean, like I said, WrestleMania was over probably about 1:30 ish, something like that. And I didn't get back to the hotel till about 3:30, 3:45. I mean, we tried to get a Lyft or an Uber. They were trying to charge $91. And the site just kept crashing. Like nobody was getting an Uber. I saw fans and their buddies arguing because they couldn't get back, and I paid for this Uber, I paid for or I paid for all the snacks, I paid for all this, and you can't even pay for the Uber thing, things like that. Just people getting upset because it was just such chaos. No Ubers were showing up. You had hundreds, if not thousands, of people waiting, side by side for an Uber or a Lyft, and nobody was showing up. Me and my wife actually were trying to run towards buses, trying to catch buses. We couldn't get on those. We ended up getting into the line for the train, and the train was just, they didn't have enough trains, and they didn't have, from what I saw, from what I heard, they didn't have enough staff to go after 1 o'clock. And I guess they told WWE, or they told the trains that they weren't going to go after 1. They ended up going past 1 o'clock, and so they didn't have enough staff to get these trains moving. So they only had one train. So you had, you know, thousands upon thousands of people waiting for a train, and now it's raining and it's cold, and we're all just pissed the fuck off, to be frank, and the line's not moving, and luckily, the fans, from all across the world, they made it fun. You had to basically be like, what, well, we're in this situation, so let's just make the most out of it. So we started singing songs and hooting and hollering, and it was just a great time, and it was fun at that point. It's raining. What can you do? The train ain't moving anyway. So we just made it a good time, and we started singing, and I had lost my voice at this point because I had been yelling and screaming the whole night at WrestleMania. So it was a good time. I want to thank all those people from London and all over Sweden, Europe. Everyone from Europe. Wherever you were from, if you were there and standing in that in that line waiting for that train, and you made it fun and sang songs, I just want to say thank you, because you made my experience that much better. Waking up for Monday Night Raw, let me tell you, I didn't probably get up until about 11 or 12 that next day, and I was so tired. Body was aching. It was just a long, long day and night. We didn't really do anything. We didn't go anywhere until it was time to go to Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw was crazy. Let me tell you, I knew that the crowd, the day after, the Raw after Mania is always the best Raw. It's supposed to be. It has the best crowd because you got people from all walks of life, from all over the world coming in, and they're going to fill up that Raw, and it's just going to be crazy, So that Raw was pretty cool. The last 10 minutes, however, when, I'm thinking, okay, let me go back to the beginning of Raw. They started off with Seth Rollins coming out, and the crowd went nuts, right? So down comes Kofi Kingston, and he's challenging Seth Rollins to a winner-take-all Universal title versus WWE title, and we're thinking, oh, this is going to be epic. This is what we're talking about. This is what we want. One of the guys sitting next to me was saying that this is what we want. He was from London, so I just love that guy. But we all, I knew anyway that neither one of these guys were going to drop the title, but they still teased it, and that was, tease us with something, give us something epic to look forward to at the end of the night, which is what I felt like they were doing. I knew neither one of these guys were going to lose, but I felt like somebody was going to come up from NXT and challenge either Seth Rollins or Kofi Kingston for their titles, interrupt the match and, beat down one of them. And what do we get? We get the fucking Bar. The Bar? The Bar? Come on, man. Why? Why did we get the Bar? You could have gave us Adam Cole, baby. You could have gave us Velveteen Dream. Lars Sullivan, they actually wasted him on something that was just didn't make any sense at all. They put him in a beatdown of Kurt Angle in the middle of Raw, and I just didn't see the point of that. Like, where is that leading to? Him beating down Kurt Angle for what? That was just for nothing. I'm not even going to talk about Baron Corbin and what he came out to. I will say this: Baron Corbin got shitted on by Brooklyn. You know, there was a lot of "shut the fuck up." I mean, it was crazy. He actually reacted with, I didn't expect anything less from Brooklyn. Calling it, Brooklyn crowd dirty, and so that was pretty cool. And but like I said, like the bar came out, and it was just like I just didn't understand, why they would give us that. Like for what? This is supposed to be the Mania, or the Raw after Mania. This is supposed to be the best Raw of the year. And I didn't feel like it was a great Mania. The atmosphere was wonderful. The crowd was amazing, like they always are. The Mania after Raw, but the same bullshit that Vince has been giving us for the last 18 months on Raw, he gave it to us again last night. I just didn't understand it. They had, like I said, they had Kurt Angle and Baron Corbin do a segment that was, stupid as hell. What really pissed me off was they had Alexa Bliss come out. And I was happy that she came out. She finally returned to action. But why would you have her come out and face Bayley? Neither one of them can afford a loss at this point. You just had Bayley lose in a tag team match last night, so I'm sure she was pissed off about that. Not pissed off as far as character-wise, like pissed off in real life. Because like I said, they just got these belts. So you're gonna have her lose you're gonna have her job to Alexa Bliss. It just didn't make any sense. So Alexa Bliss hits her with a DDT. And I tell you what, Bayley was really aggressive. This is what she should have been doing all this time. She was really aggressive in this match. She ended up losing, but I tell you this much: after the match was over and the lights went down, I saw Bayley walking back to the back, and she just looked pissed the fuck off, man. She looked irritated as hell, and rightfully so. Like they're not doing anything with her. Like I told you guys earlier, these NXT call-ups are not doing shit with them. Most of them anyway. For instance, like Alexa Bliss wasn't really that big in NXT, but now she's like this superstar in Vince's eyes on in the WWE, and I just don't get it. Lars Sullivan, he really didn't do shit for me in NXT, but now he's this big deal. Like I don't understand, man. I really don't. I'd say the Shield are one of the few that really have done something from being called up from NXT. There may be, there's probably more, but those are the ones that really come to mind so far. But, in the comments below, guys, tell me what you guys think of, this weekend's, festivities for WrestleMania 35. There was a lot of beach balls being thrown around. There was some AEW chants in the crowd because, like I said, when the bar came out, the crowd was just pissed off, man. We didn't want to see the bar, and so AEW chants broke out. CM Punk chants broke out for a minute. There were some beach balls being thrown around, and Cesaro was going into the crowd and grabbing them and ripping them apart, which is what he typically does when there's the Mania after Raw. So, I was really enjoying that. Sami Zayn, I know I'm bouncing around here, guys, but Sami Zayn also returned, and there was an impromptu match between Sami Zayn and Finn Balor. Now, he was a demon Finn Balor at WrestleMania. He ended up winning. But he was regular pop collar, smiley Finn Balor on Monday Night Raw, which I hate. I'd rather see him as the demon. No, not all the time, but, I'd rather see him as a demon. So they had a match. Finn Balor ended up winning. And Sami Zayn ended up going on a rant and, telling the crowd that he wasn't happy to see us and, all of that jazz. And during the match, well, before the match even started, I actually yelled out, Finn Balor, my wife loves your abs. I'm not sure if a lot of you guys heard that, but obviously if you weren't there live, you didn't hear it because it was when the lights went down. But yeah, he actually put up the 2 Sweet for that and, smiled, and my wife was hooting and hollering for us. So that was pretty cool that he had, acknowledged that. But like I said, Raw was pretty cool until the last 10 minutes. And, I'm hoping that next week for this shakeup, that they do something special, because it just, there were no call ups. They didn't really do anything special. Becky Lynch came down and she, did the whole Becky Two Belts thing, and she's taking on newcomers. And Lacey Evans came down and punched her, and they had a brawl, going up, up the ramp and into the, the Tron and things like that. But other than that, Raw wasn't really memorable for me. Um, it was, like I said, it was pretty cool until the last 10 minutes, and that last 10 minutes ruined it for me and a lot of the other fans, in my opinion. So left Raw and got back to the hotel. That was about it, man. We left the next day. Didn't go to SmackDown. I didn't do, get that part of the travel package. It was time for me to get home to my babies. I missed them. So need to get back, flew back out of Newark into Minneapolis. So as you can see, I'm getting sick. Lost my voice, stuffed up. That's what my voice sounds like that. So just trying to get over this New York atmosphere. I had to wash off that New York funk that I had on me. It's actually snowing here in Minneapolis, if you believe it or not. 18 inches. It was just 67 here on Saturday. And now we're getting 18 inches of snow between today and tomorrow. So shit's crazy. But hopefully, I'll see you guys at another WrestleMania. Let me know if you're going to WrestleMania 36 in Tampa. I'd love to meet up with you guys again. I'm not sure if I'm going to go. I'd love to, collaborate with some of you guys and maybe do a travel package together, trying to get some of these costs down. Let me know down in the comments. If you plan on going, we can link up and talk via email or text or whatever, and maybe try to make something happen for next year. A lot of you guys may not know, but there's a rumor going around that they're going to be doing WrestleMania 37 even in LA. That's the talk right now, where the Chargers are going to be playing, and the Rams. So that's the rumor. Don't take that as Bible, but that was a rumor that was going around right now, that WrestleMania 37, guys, may be in LA. So we'll see. But for now, it's me signing off, guys. I had a fun time for the WrestleMania 35 weekend from Friday until Tuesday. It was great. I really enjoyed myself. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys saw me, I wish that you would have said something, but hey, it's all good. Maybe we'll see you guys in the future. Until next time, please subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your buddies, your girlfriends, your wives, your moms, your dads to hit that subscribe button. I'll probably be doing some videos in the future. If I see a Raw or a SmackDown that I'm into, maybe do a video in the near future. Stay subscribed, guys. I'll be, posting some videos soon. Until then, in the words of Adam Cole, boom.